Start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love. Love, love, love. Love. Love, 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 love. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. I feel it. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, 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 joy. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start with day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release.
Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Santa Rosa. I'm Russ Laguerre. I'm your assistant minister, and I'm so glad to be here with you today. And can we give some more love to our incredible band? What is peace? Often I think of the peace that comes when I'm in a quiet and serene setting, like when I'm out hiking in nature. But what if I could find that peace in the midst of chaos? Well, this is what I know can happen when I learn to tap into that inherent peace that comes from the Spirit within. And I know that it's the kind of peace that can shift obstacles into opportunities. And it's the kind of peace that we seek here at the center. So whether you're in the room with us or you're watching online, please know that you are very welcome here, where we endeavor to honor the peace within all life. Now I invite you to join me in reading out loud our mission. The Center for Spiritual Living is a spiritual community that promotes global transformation through personal transformation. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. We are motivated by a compelling global vision that inspires us to bring the gifts of compassion, integrity, and loving kindness to the world through our programs and teaching. Together, we're helping create a world that works for everyone. And we work towards this mission through our 5 spiritual practices here at the center. And would you please read those with me? spiritual study, affirmative prayer, meditation, selfless service, spiritual circulation. We use flowers to send messages of love to one another here at the center, and today's flower dedication is from our whole center. With tender hearts, we dedicate these flowers to Reverend Joyce Kinzel, who made her transition on Friday, January 30th. We honor her life of devotion to our teaching and the years of service at our center and in Southern California. Her playful sense of humor and gentle, steady presence made her a good friend to all. Reverend Joyce moves forward in love and is deeply loved. We hold her brother Bill and family in our love and prayers. Each month this year, we highlight one of our talented volunteer teams. And today we'd like to share a team with you that you might not see often because they're behind the scenes and they are our live stream team. And they're responsible for making our 9 a.m. live stream, which if you're watching online, you're watching right now, look professional and beautiful. And so here's a video from them telling us all about the incredible work that they do.
Good morning. Good morning. Perhaps you're familiar with the Daniel Nahmod song that we sing sometimes. It begins, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Well, that's exactly how I feel about being a member of our center's live stream team. I've been working as a camera operator for a little over 3 years now, and I absolutely love it. The folks I get to work with are wonderful, and while we take our work very seriously, we also have a lot of fun doing it. Our team arrives at the center well before the 9 a.m. service so that we can plan our camera shots while the band is rehearsing and the audio techs are working their magic. Even though the work we do is behind the scenes, I feel like we're part of the service. And knowing that by the end of the week, over 200 people have viewed us online is very gratifying. There's nothing like being at the center in person, of course, but our team is dedicated to making the online experience as close as possible to being in the room. We do the best we can with the equipment we have, most of which is getting pretty old. So we would like to upgrade some of it, especially our 3 primary cameras. And we welcome your contributions toward making that possible.
The top 2 things I love about being a camera operator on the center's live stream team, I love that I have a front row seat to the service. I know it seems like we wouldn't because we're so far back, but with the cameras, we are zoomed right into the stage, to the speakers and to the musicians, and we catch every facial expression and we can feel their emotions. It's a beautiful way to experience the service. The second thing I love about being on this team is that this is a team that runs on love, respect, and fun. We have a great time together, but everything is done with love and with support to put out this beautiful live stream for our community. We're working with professionals, people who know everything about the tech aspect of doing a live stream. I didn't. I was completely the rookie. They taught me how to get the right shot, how to get the best lighting, and then they let me be creative and come up with new shots. So it's always fun and we always enjoy working together.
Our team will have a table in the social hall this morning, and I hope you'll come by and chat with us. Thank you and have a blessed day.
Thank you to our live stream team. We would now like to extend a very warm welcome to our first-time visitors. If it's your first time here in our center, would you please stand as you're able or raise your hand? We would love to bring you a flower and a welcome packet as a token of gratitude for joining us today. I know that somewhere between the music, the meditation, the prayer, the practices, and Dr. Edwards' message this morning, you will find exactly what you need for the next step of your spiritual journey. Please know you are very welcome here. Now, please enjoy some music before our short time of silent contemplation and prayer.
This piece is a call and response, so you guys are the response. I look forward to hearing you.
Still my mind, be at peace in my awakening. I release with my heart, free my soul. In my awakening, I am whole.
Together we sing Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. As I love, as I give, in my awakening, I choose to live. Give me strength, shine your light. In my awakening, clear my sight. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti.
Surrendering into this moment. This sweet, warm embrace of life itself. The one presence, the one source, right here in its fullness. It is what is everywhere, the one ground of being. Animating each and every part and unfolding together as one life. This one is everything and everywhere I am. It is all that I am. And I know this absolutely as the truth of each and every one here, each and every one hearing this word. It is the truth of all life. And so I know that we are each and all held in this warm embrace. We are unfolding this morning in this one presence that guides and directs, supports and sustains us all. In this, I know that we are blessed. And in gratitude for this knowing, in gratitude for this sweet surrender, I simply let go. I let this be, and so it is. Amen. Good morning. I'm Ruth Barnhart, a minister here at the center. Please join with me in reading this morning's affirmation. I surrender to the rhythm of divine order and peace, and so it is.
I can hear such sadness in the voices of my friends, talking about this world and its pain. But we must not lose heart, we cannot give up hope. For long have we journeyed, waiting for this day. These times seem so uncertain, so unkind. But this path makes us stronger, the higher we climb. We were made for these times. Let us turn our fears into courage, into faith, our greed to generosity. We can give our anger to love's compassion and move this injustice towards peace and unity. These times seem so uncertain, so unkind. But this path makes us stronger, the higher we climb. We were made for these times. Didn't we say we are believers? Didn't we ask for grace? Must remember right now we are needed to stand and shine our light in this hour, in this place. These times seem so uncertain, so unkind. But this path makes us stronger, the higher we climb. mind. We shall use our voices, we will not walk blind. We were made for these times. Our hearts were made for these times.
Hello. There you are. Now I can say thank you. Thank you so much, and good morning to you. Before we continue with our planned program of studying world faith traditions, I need to start somewhere different from what I had planned. Rather than continue with business as usual, I wanted to name the distress that many in our nation are feeling this week. I know that many of you are carrying something heavy in your heart right now because it's likely that you are witnessing, as all of us probably are, the headlines about Minneapolis and the loss of life that has triggered deep pain and protest. And it's possible that some may be wondering, how are spiritual people to respond? Should we stay above this? Should we keep our thoughts positive and affirm that all is well? Well, I have been watching the HBO series Mad Men again, and there is a scene in it that illustrates why it is valuable to face what is happening with honesty. It's the scene where Betty Draper's father has had a stroke, and everyone around her keeps insisting that everything is fine. Even her father. They say her father's fine. The situation is fine. Everything will be fine. She knows that there is something deeply wrong. But everyone is so committed to maintaining this show of optimism that she starts to feel like she's losing her mind. Finally, she talks to Viola, her childhood housekeeper, about how bad her dad is. And Viola says, well, that's because he is very, very sick. And Betty's response is immediate relief, and she says, you don't know how good it is to hear someone say that. Someone finally acknowledged the reality she was living in. Someone stopped pretending. And that honesty allowed her to stop pushing against her own perception so that she could face what was happening. And spiritual growth often begins with that kind of honesty. When we acknowledge what's broken, that's the moment when we open ourselves to a healing that can show up, possibly in ways we couldn't predict. So let me say it plainly. Things are indeed messed up right now. You're not imagining it. What's happening in our nation is real. And it's deeply concerning. In a sense, it makes our study of world faith traditions even more relevant. Now, we're stepping into the study of 10 world faith traditions, first because spiritual study is one of the pillars of our faith tradition, and second, because by learning about our neighbor's faith, we cultivate a mind in which dehumanization cannot take root. So we began today with Islam, and that feels relevant right now because Somali Muslims in Minneapolis are experiencing fear about leaving their home, about going to the mosque, about going to school, I learned about a report from the Council on American Islamic Relations that shows that Muslim students in our nation are bullied at more than twice the national average, with nearly half of them reporting that they were being bullied because of their faith. So learning about their faith is one small way that we can refuse to participate in the dehumanization of a people. You see, more than being optimistic, Science of Mind invites us to be human, to have a spirituality that is big enough to hold the whole world just as it is and just as it is not. Now, some of you might remember that I gave a message about Islam about 11 years ago when we were doing this World Faith Tradition study. It was 2014, and we were still very much in the shadow of September 11th. So the questions that people had on their mind about Islam were often rooted in reaction to that event, in fear. Questions like, what kind of religion could be associated with that kind of violence? If Islam is inherently peaceful, why is it so aggressive? Should we be afraid? At that time, I stood right here and I did my best to answer those questions and to address misconceptions and to reassure. And that was important work then. And what I've learned in the years since then is that when a person approaches a spiritual tradition through the lens of what it's not, or through the lens of what you've been told to fear about it, it's very easy to miss almost everything that matters about that faith. So today I want to try something different. I want to approach Islam the way I would hope someone from another faith would approach our Science of Mind, with genuine curiosity, with openness, and with a willingness to be surprised by its beauty. So I'll start with a number that still amazes me. There are nearly 2 billion Muslims in the world. 2 billion people who have found their spiritual home in that tradition. 2 billion people who wake up every day and reorganize their entire day around prayer. 2 billion people who fast for a whole month each year, who make surrender to the divine the central organizing principle of their entire existence. Now, that doesn't sound like a practice to casually adopt. It suggests to me that there must be something intentional about it, something that feeds the souls of Muslims the way Science of Mind feeds my soul. So what is it? What do 2 billion people know that maybe I don't know? So let's unpack it, starting with the word itself, Islam. The word Islam translates to surrender. Specifically, it describes self-surrender. So a Muslim is one who practices this surrender. Now, in our Western culture, we often equate surrender with defeat, or giving up, or the loss of agency. In the Islamic tradition, surrender is an active, courageous realignment. It's the decision to stop bracing against the flow of life while staying awake and alert to possibilities. In our Science of Mind, we might describe surrender as I release and I let go, I let the Spirit run my life. Because we too recognize that our individual ego is part of a much larger whole. Now, Islam takes that recognition and turns it into an entire lifestyle. For a Muslim, this surrender is a recurring homecoming that happens 5 times every day of their lives. It precedes a meal, a journey, a difficult conversation. It is a constant, conscious returning to spiritual truth that a power greater than ourselves is at work. It's the strength that is required to be humble. The Quran offers this beautiful image of Allah as encompassing all, as the divine presence that is everywhere, in every direction, in all times. So surrender then is the act of opening our eyes to see that wherever you turn, there is the divine. You can't escape it, you can't outrun it, and why would you want to? So rather than thinking of it as a threatening presence, it's a compassionate, all-encompassing one. A reminder that you are never outside of the energy of the infinite. We say something similar in Science of Mind when we affirm that there is only one life, and that life is spirit, and that life is my life now. Same idea, different words. I learned too that the role of beauty in Islam is fundamental. You know, the Quran, perhaps you know, was revealed gradually to the Prophet Muhammad over a 23-year period as a series of oral recitations, and according to Islamic tradition, it's possible that he couldn't read or write. So the revelation was sensory, it was an experience, it was received, it was felt, it was a vibration. And early accounts of these recitations describe the people who were listening having a strong physical and emotional response when they heard it. People were moved to tears by its cadence and the rhythm of the Arabic verses. They were encountering something that felt to them undeniably holy. The beauty of the language to the ones hearing it served as evidence of its origin. We often attempt to understand the divine through logic, through analysis, through explanation. The Islamic tradition gives beauty more emphasis. After all, to think about it, when we hear a powerful piece of music or witness a sunset that stops us in our tracks, we're experiencing that cracking open. We're loosening our grip on the analytical mind and opening to the mystery of the infinite in a direct, felt way. And wisdom wrapped in beauty, well, it reaches the heart in ways that surprise us, before the mind has time to build a defense. In a week where the news is filled with harsh imagery and jagged rhetoric, might we look to this tradition to remind us that beauty is one of the spiritual necessities, one that resonates with our global heart vision, that says we see a world where there is renewed emphasis on beauty, because beauty is a doorway, one of the ways that the divine shows up, shows us our wholeness, even when the world feels broken. We are witnessing a moment in the world where the air is burdened with an old mistrust of those who are different. Across the globe, there's a palpable sense of apprehension. Now, religious violence is sometimes a part of that kind of global landscape. But that is more a human phenomenon rather than a spiritual requirement of faith traditions. Throughout history, almost every major tradition has seen its teachings used to justify aggression for some temporary agenda, thereby bypassing the deeper ethical, spiritual core of its faith. For example, it is often the case when some think of Islam, they don't think of the 5 pillars of Islam: the profession of faith, daily prayer, charity, fasting, pilgrimage. No. These are often overshadowed by a more gripping and difficult concept, that of jihad. So let's unpack that too, starting with the meaning of the word. When we hear jihad in news coverage, usually associated with terrorism, we're hearing a word that has been twisted away from its deeper meaning. Similar to how crusade used to mean an armed holy war, but now mostly describes passionate commitment to a cause. So the term jihad translates to effort, exertion, and it describes for Muslims the internal struggle to live according to high principles. In this way, a jihad is understood the same way that people in this room understand spiritual practice, as the sometimes difficult work of living according to values. It's the labor of the soul. It's the discipline required to maintain a spiritual practice when we are tired. It is the patience we summon for our families when we feel depleted. It's the grueling work of identifying our own prejudices and choosing to dismantle them when we would rather keep them. In later Islamic teachings, this inner struggle came to be known as Jihad al-Akbar, or the greatest, or the greater jihad, the most significant battle a human can face. The struggle one has with their own lower nature, above any external conflict. This is the work of mastering unhelpful personality impulses so that the Spirit can lead. In our teaching, we recognize this inner work too, as the intentional choice to think from a place of oneness at a time when fear or feels more natural. It is the exertion required to maintain a presence of peace in a world that is triggered with anger or fear or revenge. This week, many of us are feeling a specific kind of exertion. Some are struggling to stay present with everything that is in the news, stay present while holding on to our faith in human goodness. We're doing the work to keep our hearts open when it would be easier to shut them down and turn to stone. This effort is holy. It's a sacred struggle. It's what it means to be a person of faith in a complicated world. So we honor the effort itself as a form of spiritual living, of worship. Now, in Science of Mind, we might talk about this as showing up for meditation even when you don't feel like it. as catching ourselves in old, repetitive, reactive patterns and intentionally choosing to redirect our awareness. Same work, different vocabulary. And what about our value of diversity? That's another place where we intersect with Islam. In the Quran, the vision for humanity is one of intentional diversity. It describes the creation of different nations and different tribes as a deliberate act intended to help us know one another, suggesting that our differences can be seen as intended by the divine. The Prophet Muhammad, he modeled this through hospitality in his own life. When a delegation of Christians visited him to discuss their differing beliefs, he invited them to conduct their worship services in his mosque. This is more than tolerance. He recognized that his holy place was a sanctuary for all who seek the divine, regardless of the name that they used for the infinite. When we look at the unrest today in our nation and in the world, can we choose to see it through the lens of this kind of hospitality? Can we strive to recognize the peaceful foundation of our neighbor's faith and stand in solidarity with them? Learning about the spiritual practices of nearly 2 billion people, we may begin to clear some of that burdened air and replace mistrust with this clarity of shared humanity. And it'll take some effort to stick with that, to stand for that, to refuse to be distracted from that. What has emerged from my exploration of Islam is appreciation for a tradition that makes the presence of the divine the absolute priority in life. Same priority, different method. Also, I learned again that Islam is a faith that builds its entire schedule around remembering the infinite 5 times a day, every day of their lives. I learned that it values beauty as a primary language of spirituality, and that it sees internal struggle for goodness as sacred exertion. So this week I ask, can we let the devotion of the Muslims inspire us to deepen our own? Can we let their commitment to prayer remind us to return to our own central practice of prayer, maybe more than once a month? Can we let their hospitality expand our capacity to welcome the world with kindness? Can we recognize the universal desire to touch something greater than ourselves and the ongoing effort or commitment it requires to live that way? There is a beautiful freedom in realizing that we are engaged in the same or at least similar work. Whether we call it surrender or alignment or recognition or effort or spiritual practice, to me it appears that we are collectively waking up to the shared experience that there is one life, expressing itself in an infinite variety of paths. For the rest of this month, we will dip even deeper into Islam and the practice of Ramadan and the mystical elements of Islam through the poetry of such poets as Rumi. I invite you now to breathe in with me and exhale. Let your eyes close if it feels comfortable as we join in a moment of prayer. There is only one life. That life is spirit. It is whole and everywhere present, and it is my life right now and our lives, all of us sharing our origin in the same original creative power. So today, through this prayer, I surrender to that power so it may work through me to cause me to see clearly, to think wisely, and to choose in a safe, sane way. I let fall from me all barriers and obstacles that prevent me from moving forward in this world in a way that reflects the true nature of my being. I stop right now the influence, the hypnotic influence of the news and the group mind, so that I can stand clear in what I know to be true for me and for this world. There is one life, that we are all part of it. And no matter what rises up to distort that vision, I remain anchored and sure, settled and true in the vision of calm, clear, creative, courageous spirit within. As I remember the psalm, even though I may walk through a dark and dreary place, I shall fear nothing evil. For I'm centered in the divine, awash in a sea of connectivity and love. And so I stand for that, I speak from that, and I let myself be guided from it. In deep gratitude for this prayer and for the wisdom that emerges through spiritual study, I look forward to the days and moments ahead as I trust that that which needs to be known is being revealed, that which needs to be said is preparing itself to be said. And I stand for that. And I invite you to say with me, and so it is, followed by a deep breath in and a sigh as we let that breath make a transition through us from our time of prayer to our time of sharing and inspiration through music as we support our spiritual center through our gifts. I ask the ushers to stand as you prepare to participate in the offering by saying with me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and prosper. It does amazing work in the world. And so it is. Ushers, please receive the gift.
Make me an instrument of peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Where there is hatred, I will love. Where there is sadness, I will bring joy. Where there is darkness, I'll shine. I am an instrument of peace. I am an instrument of peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Where there is hatred, I will love. Where there is sadness, I will bring joy. Where there is darkness, I'll shine. I am an instrument of peace. I am an instrument of peace. I am an instrument of peace.
Thank you again for all the gifts that you share with our community. And thanks again to our band. Talk about the concept of beauty. Well, there it is, right there. Now, speaking of Islam, I had a Muslim coworker that I worked with back in my previous career working in IT, and I noticed something really wonderful. Every year, when he practiced Ramadan with his family, I noticed he was so happy. And I started to wonder myself, why is he so happy during this time from dawn to dusk when he can't eat anything? You know, shouldn't he be hangry throughout the day? And well, later I found out as I studied Islam that for many Muslims, Ramadan is a time that helps them to feel closer to God, to feel closer to the divine. And that's precisely because of that practice of fasting. You know, it gives them a sense of connection to spirit because it's letting go of one aspect of our material world. So that's one of the ideas that we're going to be exploring along with other practices like it in my upcoming class, The Abundance in Austerity. We're going to look at how does science of mind teach us about that practice of letting go. So I'd love for you to join me in this class. It's going to be starting on Tuesday, February 10 at 6 p.m., and it's available in person as well as online. Now, what if changing your mind was only a few words away? Well, spiritual mind treatment, which we also call affirmative prayer, that's a framework that you can use to find the right words for you to help you to shift your thinking towards what it is that you want your mental focus to be on. So you can find out how to do this in Dr. Edwards' upcoming workshop called Spiritual Mind Treatment for Beginners. And that's happening on Sunday, February 15 at 1 p.m. Now, it's called Spiritual Mind Treatment for Beginners, but if you want a refresher, if you want to come and practice spiritual mind treatment with all of us here in this workshop, you are invited as well. All are welcome. Sometimes it seems like every time I open up my news feed on my phone, it feels like I find some fresh terror. And that's why I'm glad that our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, he was thinking about this. He thought about how can we bring our science of mind practices and principles into some of the most difficult situations that we might encounter in our lives. And in fact, he wrote a whole book about it with his colleague, William Hornaday. And that's called, appropriately, Help for Today. And you can explore this book through Dr. Edwards' upcoming class called the same name. And that's starting on Monday, February 23rd at 6 p.m. And it's designed to help you bring that science of mind practice into the challenges in your life, no matter what they are, so that you can find calm, connection, and clarity. And that also is available in person and online. You can sign up for all these classes on our website as well as at our info desk, and you'll also find them in our education catalog. And we're constantly updating that catalog, so make sure you grab a new copy, look at the date on the back, and you'll see if you've got the newest one. I know that Valentine's Day, it's not just about romantic love. You know, here at the center, the month of Valentine's Day is where we like to highlight the connecting power of love itself. And, well, who better to do that for us than our good friend, Karen Drucker. And you can join her on Wednesday, February 11 at 7 p.m. for a special Night of Love Valentine's service that'll be filled with singing, prayer, meditation, and of course, lots and lots of love. So no need to sign up for that. The event's done on a love offering basis. Bring all of your friends. And by the way, I also heard that Karen's going to be speaking next week here with us. So you don't want to miss that next Sunday. Finally, do you have a strong meditation practice, but maybe you want to take your practice a bit deeper, and maybe you want to do that in a guided group setting? Well, if that sounds like you, we have a new group that's offered by one of our congregants, Jane Kennedy, and it's an advanced meditation group. And Jane is an experienced, longtime meditator and teacher, and she'll guide you through ways that you can expand your meditation practice as you meditate together with your friends in this group. So you're invited to join her on Tuesday, starting on February 10 at 3:30 p.m. That'll be right here at the center. And you can register to get more info and have Jane reach out to you on our website as well as at our info desk. So I want to thank you all for being here at the center. I feel like it's so important for us to come together in community. And know that the community does not have to end today. In fact, I invite you to join Reverend Sciotta in our upcoming Wednesday evening service because she's going to talk about what she says in her words is the peace that you didn't know that you needed. So have a wonderful week.
Thank you, Reverend Russ, and thank you for being here today. If there is something that is incomplete in you, or you cried yourself to sleep last night, or maybe you're working on something in your life and you just like a little spiritual support to help you find your way through it, please don't go home without taking advantage of our in-service prayer, or if you're online, you can do that through our confidential Zoom room. You'll find the information on our website. All you do, if you're in the room, is go to the host in the back that direction, and that host will connect you with a prayer practitioner who will listen to you without any judgment and then custom create a prayer. We call it a spiritual mind treatment for you. It's a beautiful gift to give yourself, and I guarantee you, you'll feel better for having given yourself that gift of having somebody pray with you about the thing that is on your heart. With that in mind, won't you please stand as you are able, saying, something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my affairs. Life is in my body. I think it, I feel it, and I accept it. Just the way that it is. And just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. Know with me that you are never alone, that Spirit is right where you are, that you have only to look within at any moment to know that you are guided, sustained, and empowered by a presence that expresses itself as you in this world. In deepest gratitude, let us live our lives accordingly, so that in everything that we do and say and think, we honor this presence within. And so it is. Thanks for being here. Let's close in song.
2, 3.
I am a prayer for peace. Wherever I go, peace goes with me. I feel peace inside. In every breath, peace abides. I know